So to follow up with yesterday's spare taco story, it was indeed a bribe to lure me in and let the drama ensue again. um, yeah, so I said in yesterday's video I kept getting these little messages that were popping up uh, about an extra taco that they had. Well, it was a chalupa, but it was an extra, and if I wanted it, I could get it. So it did. And the drama, stupid, but yeah, it was there too. So I go over to my grandma's house for this free chalupa, or the spare chalupa rather, and my mom said she would bring it out to the car because I had dogs with me, but I just had my dogs with me, so I left them in the car, left the car running because I wasn't planning on being in there very long at all. And hey, excuse. So I went inside, and my mom's like coming from the kitchen with this taco, well, chalupa, whatever, and has mail for me, and she starts bombarding me with questions about my aunt's mail. So the deal with the mail, our mailman knows that we all live close together, and sometimes if we're all in one location, he'll just give all the mail so he doesn't have to stop at every single mailbox, which only benefits him for my aunt, because where our mailbox is, there's two others because we're on a private drive, so he still has to stop there for the neighbors potentially. So it doesn't really, I guess, do a whole lot for him, but he does it to be nice to us, right? And yeah, so I don't know what the deal was on. He might just expect that since my mom was there, my aunt is generally there too, and she doesn't stop her mail when she's on trips or anything, so I will be collecting her mail. But I walk in the house, and I'm handed this taco, and the only thing that had come for us was some alumni thing from Ball State for me. So they handed me that, and then she starts like just asking me all these questions about my aunt's mail. It's like, he would like to say hi. And did I want to just leave it at my grandma's house, or did I have somewhere special I was putting it at their house? It's like, I'm putting it in their house. That's what's special about it. It goes from the mailbox to the house. That's typically what happens with the mail, right? So that's this whole ordeal, and she finally hands me this stack of mail, because apparently my aunt also got a couple catalogs for something for her church as well. And it's like, this could have been just fine going in their mailbox. Whatever. Is what it is. So I said something about going back to the dogs in the car because I left the car running because it doesn't start like it's supposed to. And then my mom's like, did you tell your dad? My dad is sitting right there in the chair. I was like, I figured I would tell you both at the exact same time, and since he's in the room, he could be listening to this as well. So I was talking about how it's not starting right? And like when I turn the key, sometimes it, like all the auxiliary stuff comes on, all the lights come on and all that stuff, but the car doesn't start. And he comes in with, did you hold the brake down? It's like, okay, I know exactly what that is, because the other two cars have the push button start, so you have to hold the brake to do that, right? But I also know that because I was driving the other car, well, my mom's car, so much there for a while, I was like, this is silly. I was paying special attention to what's different about this car versus that car and the startup process, and the not needing to hold the brake down because it's not a push button did come to my mind, okay? So, in spite of that, when the car has had issues starting, I will occasionally try that route as well to see if maybe I just completely spaced something again. But I'm pretty sure that no, I didn't. But anyway, he starts spouting off with, did I hold the brake down? It's like, I tried that. One time the car started after that, but it didn't start because I held the brake down. It just, for whatever reason, that was the lucky time it started. And I know because I've done it other times and it still hasn't worked. But it goes back to that point of, I really hate telling him there's an issue with anything, because I know the first thing is always going to be something with, how can I make you feel stupid about this, kind of a thing, right? That's just how he is. And he did not let me down with that approach, as far as I knew it was coming and it came. And I don't remember what was said exactly after that. I said, look, I know that you're used to having a car that you have to push the brake pedal down now to start it because it has a push button, but this is one of them old ones that doesn't have that push button, and you haven't had to always hold the brake down for it or anything to get it to start. It's supposed to turn the key and start the car. It is not doing that. But I straight up called him out on the bullshit, and it's like, no, I think you just literally don't want to deal with this problem because I'm telling you there's an issue. And he started getting an attitude about it, and it's like, you know what, I'm gone. I was like, look, I got dogs in the car, I got the car running, I'm gonna go leave. So I left. And, I get back over to our house and let the little pup out of her box, and she was all excited for her friends. We all went out to the backyard, and she was running real hard, and it was all fine. And then, within 5-10 minutes, closer to 5, my mom shows up, and then my dad shortly after shows up in the truck. So my mom has been taking my grandma to appointments. That's why her car was over there. My dad probably heard they had Taco Bell and thus went over there for the Taco Bell driving, since it's fucking cold right now. And whatever. Either way, all the cars ended up back at our house, right? So my dad, I don't know if my mom said anything further to him about that, but I called him out on some shit and left. It was like, screw you, I'm done. And then my mom comes home, and I go in the house, and one of the first things she says is, why didn't you say hi to your grandma? It's like, oh, you mean because I walked in the door and you start bombarding me with 50 questions about the damn mail? It's like, because it just didn't happen because I started getting hit with all this other shit, right? Anyway. On that note, yesterday I was talking about that damn Christmas tree needing to come down. Apparently, talking it out of my system is enough to make the room to get it out of the actual space. Because I ended up I got home, and after all the drama and all that crap first, and after I went and fed my aunt's cats, I went back home and I was like, you know what, this damn tree's coming down because I don't like the setup anymore. Setup was temporary anyway, because the dog crates weren't in a convenient spot, and I mean, not that there's a really convenient spot when you have 3 great big dog crates, but I can't put them up. We had them put up for a while, and Taz every now and then has to get put back in his when he's showing showing his butt and somebody's there for whatever reason. Not usually too bad anymore, but on occasion, sometimes he just won't quit and needs to be separated so he can settle down. But yeah, so I took the tree down, and then I moved the dog crates back to where they were before the tree situation, and then I just I just kept cleaning. And it was like the one task, and then we thought about putting the tree in the shed, but that's a really heavy box for that freaking tree, so it's like, kind of more trouble than it's worth, and if it goes out there, once I move out, it's never going back to the house again, and honestly, at this point, I don't think I'd bring it back next year, or this next time around anyway, because I put it together because it was there and to see how it looked and all that fun stuff, and I don't care. Yeah. And as I've said, I'm really trying to manifest my way out of that place this year. 11/11 is this or that. Yeah. But the drama did not let me down. Oh, and my dad did go check the car situation, and he said it's probably going to need a new key or something in the near future. And my mom's like, well, hey, talk to Scott and get it put on the schedule so we can get this taken care of. And then it was a problem because he had to do that, and it's like, fuck. Yeah. It's like he wants to just declare this is the thing and then never address it again until, hey, it's still a thing because you never got it fixed. Yeah. And as I've said many times, we do not take the tasks that are specifically his, because if we start taking them on, he will never do them again. And then it's just, well, you figured it out the last time, do it now. So it's like mowing. Oh, I'm entirely capable of mowing. After I got my TBI, okay, the house that we were renting that I fell on the stairs in and got my TBI, the landlords, I talked to them. I loved the landlords there, and I was talking to them pretty regularly. I mean, they lived a couple houses down on the other side of the street, so whenever I had to take the payment there, or if there was an issue or whatever, they were real good about coming over right away. And I remember going over there one day after she knew I got the brain injury, and she commented about how she only ever saw me mowing. It's like, yeah, because I'm the only one that mows. Because my ex thought he was somehow above that because he had the better job or something. So that was just, it kind of fell on me. Now, part of that time, I was in between jobs, but I ended up going back to the group home job that I had before we met, because I knew it was something that I was familiar enough with that I would be able to step back into it pretty easily without having to learn a bunch of new stuff, and that I was not sure I could do, learn a bunch of new stuff. So it's like, on top of going to seminary while I'm dealing with this brain injury and all that fun stuff. So that was the whole thing. Yeah, that was actually fun. I had the job with the guard, and of course, after I fell the first time, I had to miss 2 months of drills. I could not go 3.5 hours up there. And then once I started going back, it wasn't really a good thing, because my brain would just check out for huge spans of the drive, and I know, just for having driven a lot of road trips like that, I know that is something that happens frequently. But when you're doing it because your brain just completely shuts off and goes somewhere else, because you wounded it, it's a whole new kind of scary. And I did almost doze off a few times, and And one day it's like, why am I going so fast? It's like, oh, I dozed off and was still accelerating. That's not cool. I think like when I came back to and looked at the thing, I was pushing 100. It's like, yep, that's not good. That's not good at all. But when I didn't initially push to start seeing a neurologist because I wanted to give myself time. Maybe I don't need this guy, right? Well, then at my annual training that year, which was the one that was at the location that's like within an hour from my house, they let me drive to that one because, hey, that was the nice thing about that. They were all going to meet there and drive down, but I could just meet them there because it was closer to me. And there were a few other people that got to do that, but not a whole lot. Yeah, but especially since I damaged myself, like specialist bubble wrap. Yep, that was me. They always said that, my the one line leader that was in charge of me was always like, you just stay over there, I'm gonna wrap you in bubble wrap or something so you don't get hurt, don't hurt yourself anymore or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. So that was fun. However, go figure, all this stuff with like the issues I had in learning to use my voice and that being a thing, right? So one of the things that came up after the brain injury, because I've talked about how it was basically a reset for me, because it forced me to have to start speaking up for myself. And one of the drill weekends we had, I ended up being one of the contact people for this training thing that was dealing with the radios, because I was the one that picked it up real quick. It's like, that's weird. Going back to this whole not wanting to use my voice ever thing, and then, hey, you got this, show them. Okay. Yeah, so call sign bubble wrap. That's a good one. Not gonna lie. But why did I go there? Oh, because that annual training, was a lot about the big trucks and stuff, and everybody in the unit that training got to learn how to drive and maneuver big trucks. And I'm kind of disappointed I missed out on that one now, but at the time it was scary and I didn't really care. Now I kind of wish I would have had the experience, but whatever, it is what it is. When we were about done, the last day, it was like they were getting ready to, basically they were getting the trucks ready so they could make the trip back to the armory, the home armory. And I was walking out to, okay, somebody was walking from the path to the other path and through the parking lot, and they saw it and I did not. So we also moved so I can see the paths, and if somebody else is coming, hopefully before he does. But who knows? Yeah. Anyway, so I was walking out to the motor pool with a couple of the girls in my unit, and this is really stupid, honestly. We're walking past this group of there's probably 20 to 30 NCOs just standing about talking, right? And we're just walking, minding our own business, going to the motor pool to start getting the trucks ready for this trip. And as we're walking and talking, my foot hits a rock. I didn't trip over the rock. I just stepped on the rock and my brain shut off and I fell in front of this big group of non-commissioned officers, right? So it's like, oh, fuck. So that's embarrassing enough in and of itself, right? And the people I'm walking with, they were kind of freaked out, like, oh my God, is she okay? And it's like, because, the bubble wrap, everybody knew the bubble wrap thing because, well, they were trying not to let me get hurt any further. So when I fell, we detoured back and went in or back where the other chaplain assistant was. It was like the kind of headquarters for the 2 weeks. And she was doing some office type work, and I remember I just sat on the floor kind of behind her desk. It's like, dude, I have no idea what's going on. And I was crying because it's a hot mess. It's like my brain just stopped, and it's like, and then I'm aware of the fact that there's all these non-commissioned officers just standing around looking at me because I just fell. It's like, cool. Yeah. So that was the thing. After that, I decided to go ahead and get checked out with the neurologist, right? So I talked to my doctor and say, hey, I want the referral after all, and got hooked up with this. The neurologist I ended up meeting with was really cool. And I think he was former Navy, and he always wore these cowboy boots and just very casual kind of real laid back energy, real cool dude. And so I told him what was going on, and he got me set up on all these tests. Is it the EEG that's for your brain activity or whatever? We did a study where there's one that it was just overnight in the hospital, and my head was all hooked up to all these different wires and things, and I don't remember what all there was, but I know staying overnight in the hospital was one of them. And when I went for the follow-up, he was, just real casual and drumming on the desk, and so how's work going? And I was like, well, I'm in between jobs right now. And he said, okay. And I said, but I am going to school for my master's degree. He's like, how's that going? It's like, not good, actually. And I told him what was, that it has been a real struggle trying to go to go to school for my master's degree, and having all this other shit going on. And he's like, yeah. And I said, honestly, I feel like every now and then it's like my brain gets the hiccups, and I will be in the middle of saying something, and then I would just cut off completely and forget that I was even talking in the middle of a sentence. And he's like, okay. And I remember he said he liked the analogy of the brain getting the hiccups, and he says, well, basically what was going on, he said, I was having these little tiny seizures, and he said, so in those times where your brain just shuts off, it's a seizure. It's like, oh, so hey, there's a reason for what's going on, right? So I'm not just dumb as I was starting to think I was, because it just wasn't working out, because I'd be in the middle of speaking and then just forget I was talking. And that was always fun when I did that, when I was talking to somebody and they'd be like, yeah, and it's like this big lead up. People would go, where are you going? Okay, what? Tell me more. It's like, I don't know what I was talking about. They'd be like, okay. So yeah, there again, that whole making me have to talk about stuff that I was dealing with at the time, because before, as I've also said many times on here, I would just choke on this stuff. There's something wrong? Yeah, well, no, but I'm not going to tell anybody that. It's just going to be something I sit and suffer through because I feel like I'm supposed to, because I don't want, because I've been told that I'm too much for people all my life, and, just the overwhelming sense of that being the case and not wanting that to be the case. So I just, will choke on it. No, I don't need to talk to anybody about anything. It's just let me be on this little, this little corner in the darkness, hiding out because it's easier than to have to try to invite people into the fact that there's something going on that I don't know what it is and I can't fix it and it's driving me nuts. So yeah. So that makes perfect sense on this whole YouTube thing, and the fact that I have to talk my way through things, and it's like I'm releasing all these different layers of the things that I've been carrying around for so much of my life because I thought I had to just choke on it and keep it to myself. And, this has been okay for me because I'm not growing the channel real super fast at this point in time, and that is okay. What it is about right now is just getting it out of my system and making me more aware of these different layers of what's been going on that I haven't realized were deeper issues to the bigger picture. Yeah. Oh, but that whole thing, man. It's funny because, like, I definitely didn't see myself talking about my guard stuff today, but hey, here we are. Never know where it's going to go. But that's completely relevant for the stuff I've been working out too, so why not? Yeah. Your tummy sloshing? Oh, even a pillow back there. I always like it when she's doing that. I got this picture earlier. I went into the bathroom, and since the corgi puppy is staying with us, Gidget always follows me in the bathroom when I'm getting ready for bed or getting ready in the morning anyway. Ziva is back to following us in there because she doesn't want the puppy running over the top of her. Taz is kind of hit and miss. When I was getting ready today, he was in there with me, but then every time I've been in since then, like if I go to the bathroom or whatever, he stays in the hallway. I think he likes having a friend that looks up to him. Yeah. But the last time I went into the bathroom before we left, Gidget was in there with me as per the norm, and then I look and Ziva's coming, and it's like, you want to come in here, don't you? And she's like, don't you shut that door in my face. And she went in there, and they were laying on the floor, and I finished what I was doing to get ready for a walk, went to the bathroom, and one point, it's like, on my left foot, Ziva's back left foot was on my shoe, and Gidget's back left foot was also on my shoe. It's like, oh, I feel very close right now. We're very tight. I sent a picture to my brother and my mom. It's like, oh, look how cute. Yeah. But Ziva, she'll sometimes go in there. She used to all the time when we were in Alabama because she didn't want to be around my ex. But otherwise, since we've been back in Andy, it's hit and miss. Taz kind of hit and miss, though he likes to be in there when I'm getting ready for bed. Gidget's usually in there anytime I'm getting ready for bed or getting ready for the day. Unless I decide to take a shower. Used to, it didn't bother her if I was going to take a shower, she'd stay in there. But now she's at the point where she wants to go in the other room if I'm going to take a shower. I don't know if it's because the music's so loud, or I think I had to reach out around the shower curtain at one point and got her wet, and she didn't like that because she really is not a fan of baths herself. So I think that was part of her problem. But yeah, I mentioned yesterday that she got into that stupid chocolate peanut butter protein shake the other day. I didn't notice if she smelled as strongly of that as she did yesterday as she did the night before. Night before, it's like, dude, you're going to have another bath. And that might still be the case, but yeah, probably not today. I should probably figure it out today if it's going to happen, though, but she won't be happy either way. I've been trying to figure out, since I was on the cleaning mission yesterday, it's on alert. Cars are moving. Nobody's coming this way, dude. You're all right. Okay, so I mentioned the Christmas tree yesterday, but I also mentioned like all the boxes and stuff. So one thing leads to another, and then I'm just like, okay, so if I have to have a stack of these totes in here since I'm going through stuff, then I found the perfect spot for it where it's not in the middle of the walkway. I haven't got them into that spot yet, though. Oh, dude. He's like, yep, give me, I'm thirsty. Didn't drink all the water yet. Yep, might just drink it all this time. Because that's what came out. Yeah. But anyway, I started thinking, okay, well, this is a good spot for these totes that is not in the walkway, or not in the middle of the room. And so I went and got the ones that were behind the couch that had made it just off the back porch. Well, they had been in the shed, and then I brought them in, and like I've been clearing things out. Before I moved any of them, I opened them to see what was in them, and like 2 of them still had stuffed animals that I hadn't finished going through from the last time. Back in the fall, I realized there were like 6 boxes of stuffed animals. It's like, what the fuck am I doing with that much of those? And okay, you're out. That's it. No more. Chill. I washed like 2 loads full, I think. Because luckily we have a great big washing machine, so I was able to handle it. Damn it. And so I washed a bunch, and then Gracie decided she got there before I cleared any out and was able to take anything to like Goodwill or wherever. And so then she decided she wanted them all, so they ended up in her stuffed animal thing. They're not going to stay there. That's actually something I'm going to do later today. One of the things that came out of the box yesterday was this great big stuffed tiger that's like the size of Ziva, if not a little bigger. And I was pretty sure my mom had said something about my cousin doing the baby's room and Winnie the Pooh themed stuff. What? There's nothing over there, dude. So I was like, hey, I can let her have this Tigger, right? You know, and I was like looking at other stuff, and like the one from my high school boyfriend, it's like, yeah, that can go. And the only reason I even know that it was from him was because that was one of the things I did back then before I put them in storage, was I wrote on the ones that I left the tags on where they came from and why I had them. So like the Winnie the Pooh that is in a bee costume. Stop. That one I'll probably keep because that's the one I got for myself when we went on our band trip to Disney World. So, you're so damn pushy. Just chill. Yeah, like I thought about letting her have that one too. It's like, there are certain ones that I feel like I have a little more attachment to and don't want to let loose of. For whatever reason, that meant something to me back then. You know, and that was one of those. It was a vacation thing for this band trip that was a really cool thing that, yeah, and, you know, I have other memories from it, but whatever. Now, am I going to keep it forever? That I don't know. I just feel like right now I'm hanging on to it. You know, and there's a few other odds and ends, like the stuffed animals that I had that were really important to me that I remember carrying around all the time because they were so important to me. Those, probably hang on to some of those. There's this one, it's a white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, and I don't feel any attachment to that, and I feel almost bad that that's the case, but I don't, and I think the part or the reason for that was it came from my mom's parents, and I guess I am so familiar with the life story that has spoken very strongly to me not meeting their standards. So it's like, yeah, I don't. I mean, I guess the White Rabbit, I mean, since he was always late for everything, but hey, you know, I feel like that not meeting the standards thing piece is more relevant to that, and yeah, it can go. There was actually a girl that I played roller derby with that first season that was her derby name. It's like, I should see if she wants it. Stop. Dude! We're out of his water. He wants my water. You're an a-hole, dude. Maybe an ass hat, even. Hold on. This bozo, he just like spits down my freaking coat sleeve. Get back there then. Oh, it's too cold. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want it that cold right now. Just get back there and chill, man. I was pretty sure that it said 39 minutes and 39 seconds when I paused the video, and then I come back to it and it's like 35 and 39. It's like, oh, did I do something? Okay. Pretty sure that's not how it works, so whatever. Yeah, but I thought about saying if that chick wants the White Rabbit, because it means more to her as well. The name does, so I don't know. I've also thought probably not, because she's a nurse somewhere. Like, I mean, she might want it, I guess, but what's the worst that could happen if I ask, right? She says no. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, is because I know that was her derby name. It's like, well, maybe, you know, and she was one. She ended up, I think she's still technically part of the league, but she took this nursing job that's like a pretty important nursing job. And so she didn't have the time to do it. So I don't know if she was going to be done with it at that point, or it just on the back burner. But I could ask. Yeah, I'll just do that. We just have our moments. We gotta act up a little bit, and then we can go back to good. What else we want to talk about now that you're behaving? Because like all at once is it's for being very overcast and dreary today. It's like all at once it got bright. It's like it's still cloudy as hell, and it's still raining. So I mean, you can't see the sun. Doesn't look like it's any brighter, but my eyes are just all at once like, ooh, I need my sunglasses, and I did not bring those today because it was all kinds of overcast. Oh, I can't say that word today. I was thinking earlier, it's like, obviously today is not a good skating day since it's raining, right? But I was thinking about skating while I was walking the dogs, and it's like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that, at least not with the little corgi pup. I mean, I'm pretty sure my mom can handle her while I skate, but I don't think weather-wise it's gonna be super agreeable to that anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll figure something out. Clearly not today though. So yeah. And she's back to using him as a pillow because he's back to has her butt in a spot, or has his butt in her spot. So yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah, I'm kind of drawing a blank on other stories, so maybe I'll just leave it with that. And go back to the puppy. Oh, the stuffed animal thing. Yeah, but since Gracie hasn't been over in a while, I figure today would be a good day to go through that and let loose of something, because that was the biggest thing. It was one of those beanbag chairs just that you fill with stuffed animals. And it's like, that's a better idea in theory than in practice, because then once they go in the bag, it's out of sight, out of mind. She forgets she has it. Dogs enjoyed laying on it at times, but yeah, she hasn't even done that. It's just gotten moved around. So not a whole lot of sense in keeping that kind of stuff, right? But I cleared out a bunch of empty boxes. Well, they weren't empty. There was 2 of them that had stuffed animals in it, so they went into the washer, and there's a load in the dryer because I split them up. The dolls will go through separately, I guess. I don't know how that's gonna work, but they have been cleaned. They smell better, and I'm gonna pull all the Winnie the Pooh stuff. And my mom got all excited when I showed her that Tigger, and she's like, we could use that for the decorations for the baby shower. Because it's like, well, yeah, we could. Baby shower's 2 weeks from today. And apparently the decorating stuff is over at my other aunt's house, so maybe I'll just take her a stash of things. But yeah, like, I started that project last night with cleaning stuff, because for some reason speaking it into this space clears enough of the burden that it's in my system to motivate me to get it out of my system and out of my space as well. I don't know. It's in my stupid letter jacket. I don't know what to do with that thing. Could always burn it. Yeah, I don't. There's a few things from like Drumline that I'll keep. Like, I found a shirt, I think from senior year Drumline. That's the one we won. One World. I don't know. I thought about, I could put that on one of the stuffed animals that I'm keeping and just like make it into something else, but like, or sew it on or down so it can fit on one of these things. But it's like got everybody's name on it, and there's kind of a cool design and everything. So I don't know. Don't really need 2 winter percussion hats. Like the winter ones. It's like, I had one of them on, I think, a stuffed bear that my parents got when they were in Gatlinburg. They used to go to Gatlinburg with their friends, the husband of which died last year. And the first time they went, and me and my brother got to stay with my grandparents, I was apparently asking them why they had to go to the big people's place, and I thought I wasn't allowed to go there. I thought they weren't open to kids. So yeah, but I got the stuffed bear, and I think the biggest thing with the bear is it matches one that they got from my great grandma, and now I have both, so I don't really need 2 of those. But hey, well, I don't know. I think the current process is paring down the vast majority of things and then figuring it out from there. I feel like that my inner child is still kind of connected to those, and I've talked about that whole channeling thing, and feeling like I've always been an open channel, and I feel like a lot of why the stuffed animals per se were as important to me as they were, was I used to carry those all around, or all over the place, and I almost always had one like firmly tucked under my arm, and it's like there's like, I think it came from Target or something back in the day. A little stuffed thing, I've shown it on here before. It's like gray, and the one I have, it's like its hair is all like matted and around its eye, and like you can only see this little sliver of its eye. But like that one, the first time I brought those boxes up and was like, why do I have these? Why am I keeping all of this stuff? And then, I pulled that one out and I just started crying when I picked it up and was like, I think I channeled all that energy that I didn't know what to do with into the stuffed animals. So, that's part of the need for cleansing them. I'll be honest, I've saged a bunch of them and, used my intention spray after that. So whoever gets it doesn't have to take my energy from when I was little that I was like channeling into it because I had nowhere else to go with it. Okay, so I watched a Kino tarot reading earlier. I didn't finish it, actually. There were 2 piles that I picked, and I made it all the way through one and only part of the way through the other one. And then I decided to walk these crazy kids before anything else. And one of the things she was talking about was, she had this one card, and she said, usually in this card, I don't remember, 6 of Wands or 6 of Cups or something. She said, usually you see like this picture of a little kid handing flowers to another little kid. And she said, but in that picture, it was like it's like it was an adult handing the flowers to the kid. And she said the impression that she was getting from it was basically like there was some sort of authority figure dictating whether or not you were too much on things or asking for too much and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, holy fuck, yep, that's my life. It goes to that point of okay, so she was talking, I think, specifically in that pile about like holding out hopes for like this fairy tale kind of a thing, right? And wanting this great love story kind of a thing that I've talked on here a whole lot. But that authority figures or other people along the way have probably said, you're asking for too much and all that stuff. It's like, yeah. That goes to that whole, just that whole love piece in general, right? It's like the experiences I had on the love end were people that were emotionally starved themselves and just passing on the emotional starvation. You're asking too much by wanting to be loved or accepted by anybody in this family. That's just, no. You're not worthy of that somehow, because why are you not worthy of that? Because nobody else before you has been worthy of that either, as per the toxic family system that's in place, and yeah. It's like, well, that's hitting the nail on the head though, because that was very much my life, I guess, and I've talked about that on here a whole lot. So that's kind of the purpose of my channel, I guess. Anyway, since we do have a puppy to go deal with, I guess we can wrap this up and do it again tomorrow. Yeah. As always, I appreciate you. Until the next time. See ya.